Hello everyone, welcome to the series Tragic Flaws in the Plays of Shakespeare. And in this video, we are going to discuss Hamlet. Introduction. Prince Hamlet, the quintessential Shakespearean tragic hero, is ultimately undone by his crippling indecision and a tendency to overthink. Burdened by the ghost's call for revenge and his mother's betrayal, Hamlet becomes trapped in a cycle of intellectualization and inaction. This tragic flaw is evident throughout the play, most notably in his soliloquies. In his famous "to be or not to be" speech, Hamlet wrestles with the very concept of action, questioning whether it's nobler to suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune or to take arms against a sea of troubles. This overthinking nature leads to procrastination, delaying the act of revenge that consumes him. Indecision and narrative impact. Hamlet's indecision is central to the play's narrative and is evident from the moment he learns of his father's murder. The ghost of King Hamlet charges him with avenging his death, but Hamlet's introspective and contemplative nature leads him to delay. He muses, "The time is out of joint, O cursed spite, that ever I was born to set it right." Act 1, Scene 5. This lament underscores his reluctance and his sense of being overwhelmed by the enormity of the task. Procrastination and consequences. This procrastination has dire consequences. Hamlet's delay allows Claudius, the usurping king, to plot against him and solidify his power. It also leads to collateral damage, as seen in the accidental killing of Polonius. Hamlet's impulsive act in this moment starkly contrasts with his usual hesitance, resulting in Polonius' death and further entangling Hamlet in a web of vengeance and tragedy. This act of rashness, juxtaposed with his habitual delay, showcases the chaotic consequences of his flawed nature. Impact on relationships. Hamlet's relationships also suffer due to his indecision. Ophelia, caught between her love for Hamlet and her duty to her father Polonius, is driven to madness and eventual death. Hamlet's erratic behavior and his inability to commit to a decisive course of action contribute significantly to her tragic end. Ophelia's demise, like many others in the play, is an indirect result of Hamlet's procrastination and his failure to address the situation head-on. Play within play. As the play progresses, Hamlet's indecision reaches its zenith in the play within a play scene, where he seeks to catch the conscience of the king. Act 2, Scene 2. While this scheme successfully reveals Claudius' guilt, it also further delays Hamlet's revenge. Even when presented with the perfect opportunity to kill Claudius, Hamlet hesitates, rationalizing his inaction by saying, "Now might I do it, Pat? Now he is praying, and now I'll do it, and so he goes to heaven, and so am I revenged. That would be scanned. A villain kills my father, and for that I, his sole son, do this same villain send to heaven." Act 3, Scene 3. This moment of hesitation underscores his tendency to overthink and his inability to seize the moment. Climax and tragic resolution. In the final act, Hamlet's procrastination and indecision lead to a climatic series of events that result in his death and the deaths of most of the major characters. His duel with Laertes, orchestrated by Claudius, becomes the setting for this tragic resolution. Despite finally taking decision against Claudius, it comes too late to save himself or others. Hamlet's dying words, "The rest is silence. Act 5, Scene 2. Reflect the culmination of his tragic journey and the devastating consequences of his flaws. Conclusion. Hamlet's story in Shakespeare's tragedy is a poignant exploration of how a hero's greatest strengths can also be their greatest weaknesses. His intellectual depth and moral introspection, while admirable, contributes to his tragic flaws of indecision and procrastination. His inability to act decisively on his revenge leads to unnecessary complications and a series of tragic events that result in his death. Hamlet's tale serves as a cautionary reminder of the perils of overthinking and the necessity of timely action in the face of duty and moral imperative. So this was the discussion on tragic flaw in Shakespeare's play Hamlet. We will meet in the next video and discuss some other play. Until then, goodbye and thank you.